Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. So today we are understanding the yoga called as Paranna Bhojana Yoga. So here in this yoga, we usually focus on the lordship, the lord, that is the planet which actually triggers a yoga, or it has a combination with other planets to form a yoga. Paranna Bhojana. Very clearly, this specifies or mentions that the native will be forced or will be in such a position in a particular span of period of time. It's not that every yoga in a person's chart will get activated immediately after birth. It all happens on age basis, and as the years mature, the planets mature, they start giving particular you know um, results. So here, the planets involved should either be, going through, the native should be going through the Mahadasha or the Antardasha of the planets involved, or there should be a strong transit of planets over these planets, like Jupiter's transit or Saturn's transit, which will actually hit that particular house or enhance the particular house's strength. So here, Paranna Bhojana means the person will be forced to have food in places which is not his house or his family. So that is having food continuously in a hostel, having food continuously in a place which is another country, or surviving on meals which are donated or are given as alms. Everything comes into this particular yoga. It is not that a person will be always having the family, or he will be in the security of the family, that he will be having family food always. If this yoga persists in a chart and it is hard and hitting the chart, the person will be subjected to depending, or will be subjected to depend over others for food. So Paranna. Second Lord should be weak and is posited, and should be posited with a fast moving malefic. So then, if it is a fast moving malefic, the second Lord is weak, first of all. The second house is weak, and the second Lord conjoins a fast moving malefic. So, who is the fast moving malefic? It can be Sun, who is one of the fast moving planets. It can be Mars. So it should be a malefic. So Mars should be a temporary malefic to that particular chart. If it is Lagnadipati, then you can tell that this yoga does not happen. Even if Sun is the ascendant lord, then this yoga does not happen. So the conjunction with the fast moving malefic means that this yoga would be very temporarily acting on him. Like, for example, the person suddenly gets a job very far away, let us say in Dubai, or a place like suddenly in Europe, where his food habits will not be immediately, he will not get immediate relief there. So he will have to depend on some other family for food. He will slowly come out of it, but this is a temporary thing. So let's say 6 months or 3 months, he will be doing his own arrangement, and he will make his own arrangement, and he will come out of that. Even for students who are going for colleges, suddenly getting into a new place, it's like a North Indian coming to a South Indian engineering college, and he is trying to accustom himself, acclimatize himself to the hostel facilities and the food, which is very difficult for a North Indian to suddenly come and adjust, and even for a South Indian to go to North India and adjust with the food. It's not only about India, it's about every country. If a person suddenly from Brazil comes to US for on job, it's not that everybody will like the food what is available in US. This guy will always have that attachment towards his family food and that traditional food what he will miss. So he will depend on outside food or prepared by somebody else other than the family. So this is called Paranna Bhojana. The second factor here, criteria. The first criteria was second lord is weak and is posited along with a fast moving malefic. The second criteria here is the second lord is debilitated and with the retro Saturn. Particularly here, Saturn has been mentioned. And if this is happening in the second house, then the second lord will not be debilitated. It will be in its own sign with the retro Saturn. And what if the second lord is debilitated in some other sign or some other house, and a retro Saturn is in the Lagna? That is, sorry, not in the Lagna, in the second house. It still works. So these are some combinations which have to be seen to understand, see, to predict whether a person will suddenly get a job change and also a change of place where he will not be able to take his family immediately. And we can also understand when the event will catch on and when it will leave him or give him a relief. So this will also affect as a Paranna Bhojana Yoga. So it will affect him, not affect, or this yoga will come into effect. So the third criteria here is the second house is malefically disposed. So as I said, if retro Saturn is in the second house along with Rahu, or if there is Mars and retro Saturn in the second house, or if the second house is having a malefic combination like a retro Jupiter, you do not know how tough a retro Jupiter will act when it is sitting in the second house, and if it is debilitated for the sign of Sagittarius. The Lagna Adhipati itself going to the second house, becoming retro, gives a lot of difficulties if it conjoins the eighth Lord Moon. Though it is giving rise to a Gajakesari Yoga for Sagittarius ascendant, this particular combination of a retro debilitated Jupiter along with Moon in the second house can give difficulties for the native to stay even along with the family. He will have to somehow or the other adjust to survive somewhere for many number of years. This is not a small position. This is a tough position. So Paranna Bhojana Yoga has to be meticulously understood, and the main factors to be understood is how is the second lord disposed, what are its positions, aspects, and conjunction, and what is the strength of the second house, seeing the Sarvashtaka Varga or the Bhava Bala, and also seeing which are the planets which are aspecting and posited in the second house. I think I said seventh house, or okay, the second house, not the seventh house, second house. So the more you focus on the second house and its well-being and where it is placed, and understand the transits of Saturn, Jupiter, retro Jupiter, like for example retro Jupiter was just now transiting over Cancer. A retro Jupiter over Cancer, where Jupiter gets exalted at 5 degrees, can give an exalted retrograde Jupiter, which will actually cause difficulties to the native who has an ascendant as Gemini, because it is the second house. And in that particular chart, if a native has a debilitated moon, let us say moon is in Scorpio, that is a tough position. So there is, you need to see. See, Paranna Bhojana Yoga also suggests something else. I'll come to this angle. Understand that Moon is Annakaraka. Jupiter also is Karaka for welfare. That is your well-being, prosperity with regard to food, and prosperity with regard to having things around you. So, mother's well-being is seen by moon, and if moon is involved in this combination, the health of mother has to be taken very seriously. So Paranna Bhojana Yoga also gives you a clue as to whether your aged mother is going to be safe or not. So you need to see the status of moon, the strength of moon, the association of moon, because moon is also Matru Karaka. So, thank you very much for today's class. Earlier class, I have done Annadana Yoga, that is a yoga in which a person will be capable enough to give food or serve food to the hungry. So, thank you very much.